South Africa has some of the most scenic coasts in the world, with two of the best known ones being the Cape of Good Hope and Cape Agulhas. One of these has been mistakenly identified as the southernmost point of Africa. To find out which of these is the Real McCoy, join us on a fascinating journey to the southernmost point of the African continent. We are now in a little town called Baardskeerdersbos. You may see the name there on the shop. It's a liquor store. Very small town this, but despite that there's been a number of YouTube videos that they made about this town. It's my first time here. As you can see, it's pretty quiet here. I think the population is around 1,000 people. There's a lot of speed bumps. You want to make sure that you stick to the speed limit, and then suddenly it changes to 100 again. So we've driven through Baardskeerdersbos in less than 2 minutes. That's how small the town is. Okay, so it's about another 45 minutes before we reach Cape Agulhas, the southernmost point in Africa.
And actually on our way we will pass through Elim, which is a small town. Maybe we can stop by there and have a look.
Yeah, maybe we should do that because we didn't stop in Baardskeerdersbos. We entered a little town called Elim. And from what I've heard about it, this was inspired also by the biblical name Elim, when the Israelites were in the desert after they came out of Egypt. It's another very small town, and you can see here in front of us another town ahead, Dolphin, which is like a wolf hole. But in front of us is a beautiful Cape Dutch house at the end of this road. So we're going to stop here to see what we can see. Elim's Moravian church was built in 1835 and is one of few places of worship built in the Cape Dutch style. Biblically, Elim is the place the Israelites rested after crossing the Red Sea. It was a place of cooling waters and palm trees. In the Cape, Elim was also a refuge, a place of safety, initially for the indigenous Khoi people and later for hundreds of destitute freed slaves. So here on the inside of the Moravian church, it's interesting to see that everything is white, perhaps symbolizing the righteousness of Christ. And if we look at their motto, it is "Our Lamb has conquered, let us follow him." And I think that's a very good motto that we can all practice. I think that was quite a nice stop in Elim, a place that many people would just drive through. I'm also glad that we met that local man. I can only remember his last name, which is October, advising us to follow the signs to the Daarstorp instead of going straight to Struisbaai.
Oh yes, that helps us to avoid a gravel road, which is something we are not supposed to take with this rental car. It's a pity that we couldn't visit the museum in Elim that Mr. October mentioned.
Yes, it's a pity that it was closed, but it does give us time to stop in Struisbaai on the way to Cape Agulhas. Hopefully we can see some stingrays over there.
I have only seen stingrays in an aquarium before. We were able to touch those, and I wonder if people can touch the wild ones in Struisbaai as well. They have even given one of them a name called Perry. Maybe that one is more used to people.
I never knew that you interacted with stingrays before. I've only seen them in documentaries. And there was an Australian wildlife presenter, Stephen Irwine, who got killed by a stingray.
Oh yes, I remember that. It happened when he went diving in the Great Barrier Reef. But I don't think stingrays are anything to worry about in shallow waters, as we would see them in Struisbaai.
Yes, the ones in Struisbaai are very close to the beach, and I'm excited to see them. Struisbaai has a 14-kilometer wide sandy beach, which is the longest in the southern hemisphere. It's located just 6.9 kilometers from Cape Agulhas and falls under the same municipality. The town is an old fishing village, which for many years sported a beautiful natural harbour, but it is now known better for its leisure activities like fishing, diving, and of course close encounters with stingrays. One of the first things I saw after arriving in Struisbaai was a cormorant. Cormorants are skilled divers and underwater hunters, and they spend a significant time grooming and drying their feathers, particularly after diving for food. This is essential in maintaining the ability to fly and dive efficiently. Right next to the pole where I would footage of the cormorant is Struisbaai Harbour, and that's where you can see some stingrays. Now these are massive creatures. They can grow up to 4.3 meters in length, 2.1 meters in width, and weigh up to 350 kilos. As they all look exactly the same to me, I wasn't able to tell which one is Parry, but it was quite remarkable to come so close to them and see just how big they are. Perhaps this boy that got very close to one of them and in fact touched one of the stingrays was playing with Parry, the only one that has a name. Alright, and there you can see Cape Agulhas. We just entered, and that looks like the sign for our guest house. So it should be very close here, and there it is on the right. Ocean Guest House in Cape Agulhas. Looks like a really nice place, and it's really very close to the ocean. So Agulhas Ocean House Bed and Breakfast can be booked online, and it's one of those places again that's underrated. It's got only 3 stars, but I'd give it at least 4, maybe even 5. The service is just superb. Breakfast was out of this world. They gave us a fantastic vegan breakfast, and the rooms and the whole guest house for cleanliness, I'd give it 10 out of 10. And for our room, we paid 1,221 rand a night, which is about 69 US dollars. Fantastic value for money. And for me, the best part of this guest house is the garden. That is part of a nature reserve, and inside the garden you'd see all sorts of exotic birds and even small deer, as you could see later on. So I'd highly recommend Agulhas Ocean House for your stay in Cape Agulhas. So here are a few shots I got of birds in the garden. A southern double-collared sunbird, and then in the middle there you can see a juvenile orange-breasted sunbird, and on the right is a fully grown one. So Alan, the guest house owner, sprayed some water here, and look at that orange-breasted sunbird here, juvenile, how he enjoyed the water here. And apparently these birds come every morning, so what a wonderful sight to see these beautiful birds in the garden.
The next day we went to the Cape Agulhas Lighthouse, which was built in 1848. Since Francois had a heavy camera with a long lens with him, I was the one going up. There are 71 steps, and you can see how steep they are. I have heard that it is quite a difficult climb, but for me going up the steps was no sweat, which I put down to my active lifestyle and healthy diet. The Lighthouse Lookout Point offers panoramic views of the surrounding neighborhood and beautiful blue ocean. This looks like a great place to buy a retirement or holiday home. It's also ideal for digital nomads preferring a quiet life close to nature. Those reaching the top can say that they have been up the second oldest lighthouse in southern Africa, although the view in itself makes the climb well worth it. The highest lookout point is also the narrowest, with the metal floor being full of holes and there being only minimal barriers at this 31-meter high lookout point. It's probably not suitable for those afraid of heights.
Near the lighthouse, there's a 20-meter long Africa map. This was built in 2016 at a cost of 15 million rand, equivalent to around $1 million at the time. My only other visit to Cape Agulhas was 40 years ago, and a metal map of our continent is an impressive addition since the last time I came here. The monument where the Atlantic and Indian Oceans meet brings back good memories of the time I came here with my grandparents 4 decades ago. At that time, this was a brand new monument erected by the then state president, P.W. Botha. Here you can see part of the ocean at the southernmost point of Africa. Although January is the month with the warmest seawater temperatures at Cape Agulhas, it's still only 18 degrees Celsius, which is rather chilly compared to Durban's 26 degrees Cs. On the way back, we came across a dead dolphin. Dolphins usually prefer warmer waters like that of Durban in the KwaZulu-Natal province, but they are still plentiful in the Western Cape. If you see a dead dolphin or other sea creature on the Western Cape beach and are not close to a reporting point like we were, you can call the Cape of Good Hope SPCA Wildlife Unit at 021 700 4158. Do not touch the carcass of any dead animals, as they can carry diseases. There are 10 dolphin species in South Africa, and a dead one we came across is a bottlenose dolphin, which is commonly seen in the Western Cape. Cheryl from our guest house recommended Earth's Restaurant for lunch. Whether you go alone, as a couple, or with kids, the restaurant's a perfect place for a relaxing meal close to nature and is less than 15-minute drive from Cape Agulhas. They have a couple of vegan options marked VV, as well as an extensive drinks menu. Although my favorite drink, rooibos tea, doesn't appear on the menu, it's available upon request and costs only 20 Rand with honey and lemon. There's also non-alcoholic drinks on the wine list, and Alison decided to try Savannah Lemon at 40 Rand. For our meals, Alison ordered pasta at 115 Rand, while I got homemade roasted butternut and soup at 85 Rand.
Actually, your choice is much better than mine because the pasta sauce is too rich and creamy by Far Eastern standards. But I like my non-alcoholic drink with a fresh lemon taste. It is a good replacement for beers and wine. Something unique about this restaurant is that one can go and feed animals outside.
Oh yes, I really enjoyed my time with the animals. That one aggressive goat made sure that he got most of the leaves on offer.
Yes, I remember how the goat chased the others away. The little donkey and beautiful pony were more subdued.
That's right, I really enjoyed our time in Cape Agulhas. Thanks to everyone watching, and join us next time as we'll be heading to Swellendam, one of the oldest towns in South Africa.